Hello, hello. This is Jodie here. I'm the founder of the Crypto Kindy Facebook group where I like to help people get on board with crypto. But we do talk about all sorts of different levels of crypto understanding. And one of the most important things, since that I've sort of been in crypto now for a couple of years, something that I didn't get a good start with was actually being able to, I guess, bookkeep my crypto journey. I didn't do a very good job of it from the start. But what had come to my awareness recently was that a tax reporting software, or at least just a coin tracking software, and there's lots of them out there, is actually a really smart thing to do pretty much from the word go. So it's sort of one of those almost semi-regrets. So I hadn't been aware of it back when I first started buying some crypto in a little ad hoc dabbling type of way. So today, the founders of Crypto Bookkeeping Simplified, Guillaume and Jessica, have come along to have a chat with me about all aspects of bookkeeping, but also just that tracking element, that sort of like being able to have a quick glance and seeing what your position's at, right through to the proper tax reporting side of things, because this is an asset class, and being a pretty major asset class, we of course have to be able to report, well, most of us, not me, but most of us around the world have to report our income and our expenses as well from our experiences in crypto. So thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Well, hello, Jodie. Hello, everyone. Thank you for inviting us. So both Jessica and I, we've got to get into crypto more actively in the past year. And then we found also we had a common interest for this kind of technology and investment. And so I bought some Bitcoins back in 2014, but at that time I didn't really know what I would do, but I ended up selling most of them with a profit in 2017, and when there was some kind of moonshot a little bit. But then I realized after I used the money for something else, I didn't have any strategy or anything. So now, back to last year, we started investing and found different strategy we could use for crypto investing. And recently, a couple of months ago, we saw that people have some issues with how do you report this and how do you keep track of this. And we also have people having different exchange. They're in different countries. They have different strategy, different kind of platforms. So we had this interest to research this and help people. So we got together to create this group membership and course and product and support group so we can help people. So that's a quick summary of the work.
Cool. And you're in Montreal, Canada, yeah?
Yeah, I'm in Montreal. So I
have
insight on the Canadian stuff a little bit. And I know some people also from Canada that are doing similar things, like they're investing like us.
So that's what I really like about your partnership. So being from Canada, and Jessica, you're in the States. So you're actually sort of getting exposed to two different tax systems. But of course, you are able to support anybody from around the world as well, with your community membership going. So Jessica, where are you?
I'm in Lincoln, Nebraska. And I also have a little bit of a relationship with the UK because I have a son in school in the UK, and I've been talking to people about the different tax. They have a completely different tax situation there. And it's really interesting that the software that we're using and recommending is capable of reporting very differently from what US taxpayers would be expecting.
With the Crypto Bookkeeping Simplified, there is a preferred tax software that you like, which is CoinTracking, which is what I've just subscribed to, thinking that I would never actually need a tax reporting software. But I looked at it from a different perspective because I literally have stuff all over the place. Like I've got different exchanges, I've got some DeFi, I've got some savings wallets, I've got all these things. And the really cool part was when I actually first uploaded the very first exchange that I bought crypto from in 2018, it got all my transactions from 2018. So that was super cool. So the inspiration for me to even, talk to you guys today is coming at it from those two sides. You're coming at it from that real portfolio position snapshot, know where you're at, know what you've spent, know what it cost you to get in and what your fees are. And then of course, putting all that into a tax reporting side of things. So your bookkeeping, Crypto Bookkeeping Simplified, is looking at that, but with more of a premise towards the tax reporting. Is that correct?
It is for now. I have plans to expand because tax season, at least in the United States, is done April 15th, except for people who file extensions and the exceptions and all that. But we did set up the membership so that it expires December 31st of the year, so that we have all that time to explore. Not only we want to do more research into all the different tax softwares and compare them and see if we really we think we have the best product, but really making sure that that's legitimately the best product for everybody. And then we also, I think, will be having maybe some kind of coffee chat, like monthly or something, kind of comparing numbers and seeing if you are in these various strategies, if you are in the plan, or if you are in rebalancing and all these things, are these strategies really working for you? And we really can do that with the tax software, not to mention planning ahead for next year's taxes for people who have to pay taxes, that you can look at, oh, this strategy is doing really well, but this one isn't. So if I sell out of this right now and take the loss in this year, then it can offset the capital gains and taxes over here. And a lot of people don't have any clue about that or know how to plan for that. So that's part of my vision for this membership going forward, is not just that 1 week when you're doing taxes in April. It's also like a little bit of financial evaluation of where you are, and talking about a place to exchange ideas about other strategies that could possibly work too.
With the actual software that is being used at the moment, which is the CoinTracking, have you come across anybody actually having difficulty uploading? Like, and are you providing tutorials on how to get your information into the software?
Yeah, absolutely. Software is great, and this software is particularly easy to use from my perspective, that you can just, a lot of exchanges, you just hook up the API and it downloads everything and it's like magically done, and you're like, it spits out the tax report and you go, oh, that's cool. But there are definitely exchanges out there that are not completely supported, or parts of them are supported. So some of the information will come in and some of them won't. And I was talking with someone this week about her account at Nexo, and I pointed out to her, I was like, do you know that there's one particular type of transaction that happens at Nexo where you swap coins, and that is not imported. The information that comes out of Nexo does not communicate to the CoinTracking right now. And it's a very complicated process to translate it into something that CoinTracking will actually understand.
So with the perspective of doing the manual side of things, that's where your membership's actually supporting people as well.
Yeah, and not only that, but people ask, they upload everything and they say, my taxes show I have a $20,000 gain, but my bot profits was $6,000. What's going on? And so that's the kind of thing that we can kind of take a peek at for them, or kind of troubleshoot a little bit and see if they missed something or they missed a step or something like that. And having a place to ask questions. I mean, it's one thing to go in there and I can do this, and you hook up your exchanges and you download your things, and that part's all very easy, but having someone to say, yes, this is what you need to do when you have a question. And that's so important. And I think what is one of the biggest values that we offer to our membership is the chance to ask questions.
And of course, Jessica, you've got the bookkeeping background, but Guillaume, you've got the technical background. So all these little issues with, like, say, APIs or things going wrong, especially there's a lot of technophobe people out there. So you're able to help on the sort of the software side of things as well, yeah?
Yeah, that's true, because some of the people, like Jessica said, we provide the adding more and more also information, but we provide like the tutorial or the step-by-step process to handle some of those more complicated situation. But what's happening now, we notice, is people, they start the process, and when they block on something or something's wrong, then they kind of stop, because they're like, oh, what should I do now? And so that's where we can help them, like, figure out what's wrong, and then they can keep going and continue, because we've noticed people have different issues depending what are their money or the investment. And some of the steps right now, it's manual still, that you need to do some of the manual work on the files, especially for like the importing, exporting. But so, because like I said, of my background, I'm working on maybe creating a couple tools too that will kind of maybe do some of the work for them. So that's one of my plan is to learn from this and then kind of have a tool where maybe it could take your file and maybe put it in the right format, so you could save some of the manual labor of just doing that manually. And if you care only about the tax report, some of that you may be able to skip. But like you mentioned earlier, is if you want the real picture of your crypto investment and you want to see all the money you put in there, and you want to see all your balance and keep track. And it is, I think, having the picture of everything you have pretty much in one place. That's something I've been looking at before, even for myself. And because keeping track in Excel of your different things, it's kind of time consuming. And so we found that this software can combine both. So after you've done the initial work on getting everything you have, then it's mostly just an update. Some of it might need to be updated like monthly, maybe for some people, but at least you have a very clear picture, and you can even adapt your strategy. Or if you want to have a certain allocation or whatever, you will have a real picture of where is your money in the different places, and then you might be ready when you want to buy when there's a dip or something, or when you invest more money, where should I send my money? So that's a very interesting thing.
If I could say, what would be like the top 5 things that people generally don't think about when they start buying crypto that could actually be an advantage in knowing when it comes to actually doing their taxes?
Well, for sure, one of them is knowing like all the different ways you can earn income, because when you get a referral for opening an exchange, that is considered income, at least in the United States. And if you're doing mining, if you're doing yield farming, when do you record the income? Because when you trade, I think it's when you trade your token into the pool, you get back something. And so therefore it's considered an exchange. And so there's so much of that is not clear that people don't know and could really use help figuring out. And that's not always automatically labeled either in the software, because a lot, like when we were going through one of the reports, which is called missing transactions, if you get a deposit, CoinTracking wants you to have a withdrawal, but if you get a deposit because it's a referral bonus or it's an interest payment or something else, you have to label it properly. And yeah. And
with regards to the education side of things, like, the plan costs $3,500 to invest in education, and then any other kind of software, like even the software expense of the CoinTracking as well, all of those are expenses that can be written off, isn't that correct?
They could be, but that's more of an issue you should talk with your tax preparer about, because especially in America, you can only deduct investment expenses if your income, if it is a certain percentage of your income, like 2% or something like that. So until you hit that 2% threshold, it doesn't even matter if you bought the plan or whatever. So that really is a good question for a tax preparer expert. And we make it very clear from the very beginning, we're here to help you, and we're here to answer questions, especially about the software and especially about what we have seen with crypto transactions and how to report them and everything. But we are not tax experts and we are not accountants. We're not officially trained. And so you do need to take your report, print it out to your tax preparer and say, what do I do with this? So,
all right, so let's talk about that just for a second, like sort of round table discussion here. There's not a lot of accountants in the world right now that actually have any idea on what to do with crypto. Yeah. So in your opinion, doing this reporting and getting this prepared for somebody is going to be helping them, because at the end of the day, you're still the one, the individual is still the one paying the tax, and they want to be able to get the best returns that they can.
Absolutely. And the thing about the software is it does break it down. So you earn income and that's reported over here, and then you earn your capital gains and that's reported over here. That's very easy to take to a tax preparer, and they plug it in the right lines and they don't have to worry about it. And then you can tell them, I had this expense, or perhaps you sent a coin to the wrong address and lost it forever. And there may be ways to write things like that off. And so the tax preparers don't necessarily need to be terribly educated in the whole crypto thing. And in fact, my personal accountant right now is terrified of it. He doesn't want to deal with it. He's actually sending me his clients to get the crypto part put together so that he can put it into his tax software.
So CoinTracking itself, like she just mentioned, is able to kind of separate the different kind of income, and it will classify them. And so it's probably doing a better job than most, like you said, this accountant could do, because they don't know crypto. But then the matter is really taking the report, which everything has been broken down, and then there might be different cases for people where, depending on their situation, they will need to plug the numbers in the right place. But usually the time-consuming part is really to produce this, which is often coming from, especially in our case, like a lot of transaction and everything. So the logic behind it is kind of similar even for most countries, though. But of course, you need to make sure that you do it the right way, though. But I think it simplified the work that's coming ahead of time.
I love that, because it is like you got just the silos. So here's just a total number in each of the silos. You know, here's your loss, here's your capital gains, here's the interest that you've earned, you know, here's the expenses that you've had. It's sort of like, yes, true, they don't really need to know a lot about crypto in itself, other than that it is an asset class and that they just want those end numbers. So that's why it's so important to use a software like this, not just for, you know, that sort of position, where's my portfolio at, where am I really at, like, am I up or am I down? At a glance, am I up or am I down? That's sort of how I want to look at it. But then right through to, you know, what are these numbers that I can just give straight over? They don't have to worry about it. And it's not a lot of time and effort going into it, because the software is doing it. But you did mention about the number of transactions. So yes, this is highly, highly important for anybody doing the plan, because you are going to be doing, even just with one bot, you're going to be doing over 100,000 transactions in a 12-month period, guaranteed.
Well over,
yeah.
Well
so
over.
The number of softwares that actually provide reporting on that is actually quite limited, isn't it?
That's what we're finding. I watched a YouTube video comparing 5 different softwares, and none of them were the one we recommend. And his top recommendation was Coinly. And Coinly, if you read the fine print, you get, you know, their highest level or whatever is 20,000 that they price on the website. And then you can buy additional levels, 10,000 at a time or something, inside their app. So you have no idea how much it costs until you get there. And then it said it's permanently limited at 100,000. And anyone who's on the plan is going to be like, unless they started in December and, you know, only traded for a month, they're going to limit out of Coinly completely. So yeah, it was mind-boggling. And the other piece of it is, I was looking around, because we're thinking of possibly eventually offering done for you kind of services where we can just pull people's reports together for them. And we were looking at the CoinTracking. They have professional services that they offer listed on the website, and it lists their basic, just preparing the tax reports, the crypto tax reports, not the full taxes, because they could do that, but just the crypto tax reports. They'll pull them together for like $800 for less than 5,000 transactions. But if it's over 5,000 transactions, it's $2,800. So it's like right there, I just like cringed when I saw that, because I thought of all those people who got in the plan and they started investing and the market went down and they have thousands and thousands of hundreds of thousands of trades. And to get someone to do it for them, costing them $3,000 and perhaps more than that, is just like horrifying.
Okay, I don't get this, because of everything you've already said is that the software does it. So to come and pay you guys such a small amount to have a year's worth of access of help, communication, tutorials, you know, and eventually, yes, there are people that are just so time poor that they just need to have somebody do it for you. But there's not a lot to be done for you at $2,800. It's already all in the software. Somebody's just literally going to upload those APIs and then maybe do a few manual, you know, move arounds. But I'm all about, like, my whole purpose of talking about Crypto Kindy, which is an Aussie term for kindergarten, is to empower people to be in control of their own crypto. And this is exactly what you guys are doing. It's like you will teach the people, teach your members how they can do it themselves in the most simple way, because it is actually pretty easy when you know what to do, but the getting help on the few little glitches that might happen, like if the API is a bit off or whatever else. I mean, that's why you guys have got such a great partnership, because of the, you know, the programming background and the bookkeeping side of things. You're seeing it from two angles so that people can actually get their whole entire reporting and tracking in line. So yeah, that doesn't make sense. But of course, you know, we know that there's going to be people that will say, just do it for me.
Yes, and we'll charge them a nice fee for it someday. But because, you know, I mean, certainly you can, I mean, not to take advantage of people, but
it comes down to how much work, and you guys are really honest and fair, and you know, you've got a being of service mindset is what I'm saying. So you know how to look after people.
And yeah, the Slack community is where you ask questions and we answer people and everything. But now that like the course itself has been moved to a 𝗏𝗏𝘀𝗀𝘀 platform, which is really more geared to like a course kind of setup where you have each module with the video and the documents and everything. So that has been easier for people now to kind of follow the step-by-step process. And then if they have questions, then they can ask them. But yeah, that's nicer and easier to follow.
Well, the other thing of choosing the 𝗏𝗏𝘀𝗀𝘀 platform is the sense of accomplishment. So each student that goes through will actually be able to tick off, yes, I have done this. I know what I'm doing now. I'm ready to move on. So great choice in that platform. And yeah, and Slack as well. I mean, one of the things that a lot of people aren't aware of, and I actually did do a video about this, you know, so many people in the crypto space are moving into Discord as their community. And that's terrifying. That is literally where most of the, you know, horrible stuff that can happen in crypto can happen, with direct messages from people that are, you know, copying other people's identities. So having Slack is definitely a much more safer, secure and professional workspace and community space for everybody to be able to connect and get the information. So congratulations on that. So the last thing I wanted to talk about was the software discount. You can actually get a discount for the software. Is that correct?
yes, we're offering a 25% off discount, and we are not requiring you to buy the membership. We think you should buy the membership because when you get stuck, you're going to need help and we want to help you, but we are not requiring it before you buy the membership. You can just buy the software. It's only for the 1-year subscription at the unlimited transaction level.
And is that renewable as well, or is that just for the first year? Okay, so each year it would be.
Yeah, our plan is to probably keep offering 25% off whatever the list price is. Although, I mean, we could change our minds, but right now that's the plan.
But that's that we have like a corporate setup. So of course, unless contracting itself also changed like kind of their rules, or we have to adapt them. But yeah, for now that should work for that's a yearly subscription. Another thing people didn't realize is the number of transaction is like it's like lifetime. So basically, if you buy a certain amount, but then the next year you're still importing, then you will probably go over your limit. So it can very quickly, you might need to upgrade. So sometimes instead of upgrading once or twice during the year, you might as well get the bigger plan, because it will stop importing new transaction when you reach your maximum. So that's why we have actually a good explanation of how to pick your level and make sure you have the right level for your situation.
That is really interesting. I did not know that it's actually the entire lifetime. So you need the unlimited regardless, whether it's for 1 year or beyond, you need the unlimited account. Yeah. So just a quick sort of, you know, the real how-tos. If somebody is actually buying the software through you, how long is it until they actually get access into their account?
So we have an email sequence set up, but we need to buy their seat. So we have built in 18 to 24 hours so that we can, once we receive notice that they purchased, we can make sure that we have a seat available for them or buy the seat that we need for them. And then that they need to open an account, either an account they already have is fine, and it can be a free account, but the way that they'll access the software is through their own account with their own password that they need to set up. So they will receive an email if if they don't have an account, there's an email that says go make an account. And if they do have an account, within about 18 hours or so, they will receive the email that says click on this link, and they click on the link, they sign into their account, and it's done.
They get transfer like to our like corporate seat license.
Okay, so one thing that I did actually experience myself was just getting the free account. So just got the free account set up, and all I did was just put in some of my hodls from, MetaMask that I have a few things on. So obviously that was well under the threshold of the transaction for the free account. So I highly recommend everybody go and do that. Just actually go and get your free account. But then coming through and, if they're able to get the 25% discount with you, paying you for that activates their upgrade, and then they can start on the tutorials, because everybody should be getting the actual Crypto Bookkeeping Simplified course and support membership, because of just the how, you can API, get all your stuff in there, and then literally you're going to come across one that's a glitch. Like my one for 𝗬𝗂𝗶 put me in the red $2,600,000. I'm like, be interesting if I even had $2 million worth of crypto, but it was like, oh, what happened here? And it was through the 𝗬𝗂𝗶 one. So I instantly went through and found how to delete that. But yeah, those kind of things, they're going to happen. And you want to know who it is that you can call upon to say, what did I do? On top of being able to self-study, being able to come into the Slack group and just go, has anyone else come across this? Is there an issue with this API or that? So I think it's really awesome what you guys have put together. And yeah, I'll make sure that we've got the links down below this video so that everyone can come through into your community. Any final words of advice? I've said that I wish I kind of had this from the start. Do you guys, were you bookkeeping manually prior to getting CoinTracking?
I'm still keeping this really complicated spreadsheet that has multiple sheets, and it has all these numbers, and I track what my bots are doing. And the thing is, it's not going to track your bots. You're still going to have to, if you want to see how your bots are doing, which I do, you still have to track your bots every day. But the rest of it, having it all in one place, especially with the APIs that hook up automatically and update automatically, it's been really I can't wait to get in there when I have a few minutes and start playing around. Yeah.
No, even myself, I had kind of lost track a little bit in the past couple of months of some of my stuff, because I didn't kind of stop updating it every day or every week. So I'm happy now that I can use the software. And one thing I don't know if we mentioned is having the unlimited unlimited software version through us is because of this corporate account. Is one advantage is if they have a problem or if they generate a report and they're not sure, then we can we don't have access to their account, obviously, like their crypto accounts, but we can look at their reports or their contracting account and figure out where's the problem, so that it make it easier. If they have some issues, we can look at them or talk with them or tell them what to do. So that's one advantage of the corporate seat licensing.
Very good. So it's kind of like a little look over the shoulder type of thing to be able to direct. All right. Without actually having, it's almost like your own API.
Well, yeah, we're not. So what we're telling people is we don't have any access to your API. Even if we did done for you, we would do all their transactions. We can balance things and we can delete things and everything, but the things needed to be downloaded from their exchange and from their API connections. They all need to set up that themselves so that we never have access to their crypto. We're never going to be able to steal their crypto, because when you set up the APIs, it's just read only. It's not giving you permissions to move things around. So
they have to go in their exchange to create their API or to download their files, CSV file or whatever, exporting their transaction if they don't have API, but they have to do that part themselves. But like she said, the API is always make them read only. So even the contracting or whatever has no way to withdraw money or make trades, is just fetching basically the transaction. Yeah, we're not able to do anything really to their crypto accounts.
No, that's really good to know. So anyway, I'm going to leave it there with the idea that maybe one day I will be a resident of somewhere and I will be paying tax somewhere. So I'm going to be all fully set up with my CoinTracking, tax reporting, and I'm going to come along and join Crypto Bookkeeping Simplified as well. So I'll see you in the Slack group. But thank you so much, Guillaume and Jessica, for your time today. And yeah, look forward to, and it sounds weird to say talking tax reporting. No, not talking tax reporting, like looking at your coin tracking, see where your portfolio is at. That's what I'm excited about. It's a good idea to get started as soon as you get started, I believe.
Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Jodie.